Hello, family and friends. This is Mildred from Cherished. I come back to chat with you for a little while. Well, we finally got things that we was going to do today. We got them, and we tried some homemade bread, the kind that you plat, and really it was good. And then we also did a pumpkin cake, pumpkin spice
pumpkin dump
dumpling
cake.
And that also was nice.
And there'll be a video coming with all that.
Yeah, I mean it was really nice. And thank you. I hope you keep joining into our channel. We would appreciate it if you would. And it's nice to get on here and talk with you all. Well, where are the majority of you from? Well, I'm from Kentucky, and the county was Breathitt County. Is where I was born and raised, and a lot of you may not know it from being Breathitt County. Some of you may know it being called Bloody Breathitt. That's what they always called it. But things...
And then we lived on Bowlings Creek.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, and we lived there when the kids was small, and then we moved and come to the city after that, and been up here like for 50-something years. But you know, it's really different from the city than it is in the country. Your whole life seems like it's changed. I mean, in the country, you could, I don't know, you could go outside and there would be people standing wanting to chat or talk, or they would be working in the gardens, and you could holler to them, they'd holler back to you. But you know, you don't see none of that up here. Like neighbors, you might get a hi or a wave if you're lucky. Everybody around, they mostly, stay in, stay to themselves. And I guess that's the difference between a city person and a hillbilly. Hillbillies, they're different. They like to be out and being sociable. And the street we lived on before my husband passed, everybody was sociable. It was just like everybody was like one. But the majority of them that was on that street, they were somewhere from down in Breathitt County.
And Daddy never met a stranger, though.
And if a lot of them that we knew, and then some of them, if you didn't know them personally, you would know their family or a relative of theirs. And it was really nice, and we had like a porch, and in front we had like a fire bed. And every evening we'd have like a bunch of people, out like talking, laughing. And then on weekends, like Friday and Saturday, they would be there till maybe 12, 1 o'clock, just cutting up and not bothering, like nobody. But it's just like everything is just completely just changed. But everything changes, so I guess that's life. And it's the people, I think, that is, that's most of the changing, but, there's a lot of people that works and ain't got time to be sociable, or may not prefer to be sociable.
I'll tell you a funny story. I just popped in my mind. When I had Sawyer, he was a baby. I'm talking, couldn't even, I don't think, could really hold his head up, could he? Or maybe he could. Maybe it was about 4 months or so. my daddy decides he's going to go get him one of those battery operated cars. Now, mind you, he was born in the end of November, and this was probably
He was born on
spring.
Christmas, New Year's Day.
He was born on Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah. Sawyer was born on Thanksgiving Day. So, now mind you, it was the end of November. So, I would say this probably happened at maybe April, something.
Probably when the weather started warming
Yeah.
up.
So, we said, Daddy, there ain't no way in the world he can get on that. He said, just hold your britches there. He said, I know I got this. And Mommy comes out and she's shaking her head and she says, no, Luther. Now you know that baby can't get on that. It's too little. He looked at us and he said, upon my word and honor, he said, I've never seen a beat in my life. He said, I know what I'm doing. Now you guys just hush it. Okay, well then he goes and he buys a car seat. Now, a brand new car seat. Okay, so he mounts this car seat onto this battery operated like Jeep looking thing. Okay.
And he made big old pedals out of wood.
Yep, he made big old pedals out of wood so he could push it. Okay, so now you got to picture this in your mind now, folks. Now here's Daddy. Here's this little baby that's probably maybe 4 or 5 months old at the most. Daddy's got him strapped in his car seat, hooked onto this thing with big old blocks on the gas pedal. And he is letting Sawyer ride this thing up and down the street. Sawyer is cackling.
And him were running with him, too.
Yep, Sawyer is not just laughing. Bud is cackling. He is cackling, laughing so hard. People on the street come out and would say, Luther, what in this world are you doing? And they will look at him and they say, I'm telling you what, buddy, I can tell you're a hillbilly. If there ever was a hillbilly that walked this earth, said that would be you. And I'm telling you what, they had the best, I don't know which one had the best time. I don't know if it was Daddy or Sawyer, but I'm telling you what, they had the best time ever was. And then also, my dad, if you knew my dad could get a tan. Like, he wouldn't get red. He would get brown. Okay, so in the summertime, he'd be out there with Sawyer playing or whatever they would do. Now, we would kill himself laughing. Again, now, folks, you got to picture this in your mind. He would roll up his pants, probably not quite to his knees, probably about halfway, wouldn't he, Mommy?
But he never cared for shorts.
No, wouldn't wear shorts, but he'd roll up his breeches, probably about halfway up his leg. Okay, then he'd have him some kind of flip-flop on. Okay, and the bottom of his legs would be snow white. Okay, then he would take. He'd take his white T-shirt down, and he'd cut this white T-shirt of his down the middle, and he'd tie it with 2 little knots. And we have no idea why he would do that for. He said he was burning up and he didn't want to take his shirt off. So he cut it down the middle and he put a little knot in the top and a knot in the bottom. I swear we would laugh. That was just how Daddy was. He didn't care what you thought of him. He didn't care what he done, but I'm telling you what, that was just the funniest thing ever was, wasn't it, Mommy?
Yeah. But, he did different things like that, and he would for Brad. He did a lot of things for him and helped him ride a training bicycle when he wasn't even 2 years old. And he put big pedals on them, and he'd be off in the yard pedaling away, and then he would run up and down the roads with him till, he got the hang of it. And then he let him do that for a few months. So then he took the training wheels off. And then he would take him up and down the road, and he would be holding one of the handlebars and letting him paddle. So he did that for a few weeks, and then finally he turned him loose because he could handle it. And he would fly, and he would be big as nothing on that little bitty, like a training bike, training bike. It was a bike, a little small bike. had training wheels on it. And then he took them off and just completely just turned them loose. And he showed him one time how to, well, he had a tricycle, and he wanted to take it all apart himself. And Luther taught him, said, now Brad said, if you will be said to take this training wheel bicycle apart, so let me show you first. And then said that way, if you do it while I am at work, he said that way you will know how to put it back on. So they took every entire piece that they could take off, even to the washers on it. Okay, they done that a couple times. Then from then on out, Brad would ride a while. Then he'd take all the parts back off of it again. Then he'd put them back on, and him that little. And then he'd ride a while, take them off. Then it'd take him sure 2 or 3 hours to put them back on, but he put them all back on and had them all working. And man, and Brad, he couldn't read or write. But if you took him somewhere one time, and let him go with you, then he could take you back to the place that he went. He just could not, after it was written, he couldn't comprehend anything that was oral. He could comprehend everything you said. And like if you give him tests in school, they would have to be oral. Because if you put something down in front of him to read, he'd make a flat F. But if you would read it to him, he wouldn't. He would pass the test. And one good thing about it, a lot of his teachers, they would read a lot of stuff oral for him, like if they was having a test coming up or something like that, because they knew that he was unable, to read. And he might could write, well, he really couldn't write, like print. But he might could, write 3 to 4, like alphabet, like for his name. But for his writing his name all the way out, no. But he would try and try. But
he was ornery.
It wasn't, it just wasn't meant to be. And he was a preemie baby too. He was born with the highly membrane disease. And then they flew him to UK at Lexington. He stayed there for a long while. And then he had nurses that came out to the home every week till, I guess he probably was a little over a year old. His heart wasn't turned all the way around. And he had a big murmur and 2 small murmurs. And his lungs hadn't fully developed. And when he was born, his stomach was very big. He weighed like 6'1". It was 6'1" or 6'2" he weighed. And then after they got the oxygen and all that stuff all hooked up to him, he only weighed like 4'7". He was the tiniest little thing, and he had like odds of his new outfit, and you would have to roll him up on the arms and the legs. You just have to let them hang, because you had, no other way of doing them. But then once he started growing, he took off, and then he grew good, but he really didn't start growing good, I guess, to probably about a year and a half, maybe. And then he started.
And now he was the second one. Was born with that, right?
Yeah. They call it the highly membrane disease. John F. Kennedy's son, he was a first case in the United States. And Brad, he wasn't. He was the second case. And they didn't think at first, though, that he was going to be able to make it. But finally he did. But after they got him all hooked up after he was born, they took him straight on the ambulance to the UK.
And they shaved his hair and all that, didn't they?
And he had a head full of hair, and they shaved his hair, and then they had just stuck him. Seemed like when he was released, he had places where they had just stuck him all over, even into his head and everything, But he pulled out of it. Now he did have like a time, and we had time like adjusting like his milk. He'd be on a certain kind for a while, and he'd get to where he couldn't use it. So the doctor would switch him to another one. And then finally, one day he just kept doing that. And I told Mommy, I said, I swear, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I said, if he throws up like that tonight and tomorrow, I'm going to get regular cow milk and give him. Oh, she said, you might hurt him. I said, well, Mommy, I'll just give him like 2 or 3 ounces and see if he can hold that down. Well, I gave him like 1.5 ounces, like twice. He had no problem. He held it down. He didn't even speed it up or anything. And I'd add a little bit more on each day. And then from then on, I give him regular cow milk.
Family and friends, if you hear snoring, we apologize. It's little Miss here on the couch snoring away, and Chloe down on the ground. So we apologize for the snoring.
Well, that's animals. When you keep them in, they lay around and stretch out and go to sleep like anyone else. But now, Lucy sure got a snoring problem. Well, Pritchie does too. Pritchie snores, so I'm telling you what, that dog can put you to sleep.
That'd be what Daddy would say. Come on, Pritchie. She'll put me to sleep in a minute, he'd say. Wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would always say that. And have you all got like a big family? I know I watch like the YouTube channels. Some of them has a large like family. I only had a daughter and a son. And then my mom, she only had one brother, and he passed away on Christmas Day, 13 months. Between Mommy and him, it was 13 months. And they passed 13 months apart. And then after my mom, then Brad passed, almost 2 years, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was 12, 13 months in when Luther passed, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was 12 or 13 months between Brad and Luther passed. And then the sister, that's a year, well, she's actually 2 years older than me, but when she passed away, she was 71, and she passed 22 hours, within 22 hours after my husband passed.
Do you want to tell them, like, what happened to your mom and them? Like what?
Well, Mom, she was in her 80s. She was, I think, 88 when she
89.
89 when she passed. And she was really doing well. She had her own apartment there in Westland, Michigan. And it had, I think, like 4 or maybe 5 different apartments in it. And,
really nice apartment.
Yeah, they were really nice apartments. And they kept their lawns, always clean for them and always salted in the winter. And they would have like a police officer that would come, like walk through the apartments. Well, because they had a door you come in and a door you go out. And they'd go out straight down like the hallway and check everything out. And she always stayed by herself. And it was on a Sunday. It was Labor Day weekend. They, my brother and my sister was there. They all, and some friends in that apartment was going to have a big grill out outside, and they was, setting up for it, but they had never started the grill or anything. And the apartment upstairs, where my brother and his wife lived, she went in to use the bathroom, and the tube of floor upstairs fell on her and it burned her up. And then it smoked the whole entire house. And so my mom, she had to stay in the hospital for a while. And then my sister, the one that passed, she helped this guy out of his apartment so he wouldn't burn. His name is James. He was a bad diabetic, and he had both legs taken off. And kind of like going in and out of his apartment, he had to have, like help. So she helped him out and got him to safety. And then it messed her back up. And I think she had, did she have surgery after that?
Mm-hmm.
And then she had to have another surgery back after that. But Mommy, she just, she wasn't the same, She couldn't do as much as she did. She stayed more weaker and things. And then, my mom and my sister, the one that passed, they just lived like maybe 5 or 6 minutes apart, not that long. And I would think too that she got over Mama. But I don't know.
Mama died of congestive heart failure, though.
Yeah.
We went up to see her. We knew she was getting bad. We went up to see her a weekend. Me, Mommy, and Elijah. And we went up to see her, and they told us she was in a rehab. And they moved her from rehab to home because she said she didn't want to die at the rehab. So they brought her back home and set up hospice. And we went up there that weekend, and we got to spend time with her, and she wanted White Castles. We got White Castles like we normally did. We got a milkshake from United Dairy. And we had the best visit ever was. Well, then we left that Sunday, came home.
And went back on a Tuesday.
No, we got a call back that Saturday morning that we needed to get back up there because she was unresponsive. And it was just a matter of time, they said. Now, mind you, this was in February.
She died February the 10th.
13th, wasn't
Yes.
it? 10th. And then it was February the 10th.
She passed away at 9:13.
And then it was pouring the snow, pouring ice. So we left here. We get up there and we hit Dayton, Ohio, and it was terrible. As fast as the windshield would get the snow and ice off there, it would freeze right back. My son had to take over driving because I couldn't do anymore. So we drove up there. It was like in shifts. So my mom's brother and Janie already lived up there. So they were already there. And then it was us, my mom's sister Oli, and then her sister Pam. So everybody kind of went in shifts. So they were there. I think Oli got there next. Then we got there next, and then I think Pam and them were the last ones, right?
I think so.
And then, all the grandkids, everybody was on their way. So we get there, and we get there, and Mama wasn't, she was just laying there. She wasn't really responding at all. They said they were, like, pushing on her chest and stuff to get her wake up, and she wouldn't wake up. So we get in there. And we all get in there, we see her. Mommy was like the last one. So Mommy comes in and she starts crying. And then when Mommy comes over there to Mamaw and starts talking to Mamaw. Mamaw opens her eyes and starts talking. And that all the kids and stuff would say, Tootie, Mom was waiting for you to get here. And she'd opened up her eyes and she talked to us for a long time Saturday. And it was kind of like the old days. We had air mattresses in the floors. A couple of them went to, I think Pam and one more went to stay at the hotels. But a lot of us and Mommy and Janie and Sawyer and Charles and all of them, we stayed there with her. And it was like the old days. There was air mattresses. There was people on the floors. There were people in the hallway. I think a person had an air mattress thing in the bathroom. We were just everywhere. And Saturday, she talked to us pretty much about all day, didn't she? She talked to us about all day Saturday. She talked to us about all day Sunday. And she kept telling us, she kept saying, I see Mom, like, over there in the corner. She'd say she sees her mom over there in the corner. And late Sunday, she got then to where she wasn't really talking anymore. She just kind of laid there. I don't think she talked anymore Sunday evening, did she?
No.
So, didn't talk much Sunday evening, and then the hospice people come in and stuff, and they said it's just a matter of time. So, me and my cousin Sean, we stayed up with her all night. Mommy and Janie, and they finally had dozed off a little bit.
I sit by her hand.
Yeah, but I mean, you dozed off for a little bit, you and Janie did. So, it was up in the morning, Monday morning, or probably about 2 o'clock or something in the morning. It got freezing cold. I mean, you could see your breath in there. It was so weird. You could see your breath in there, and we're like, oh, and Sean said it's getting close. And I think then when it got cool or something in there, I think her mom was there. Because she kept looking in that corner where she kept telling us where she's seen her mom at, in that corner. And she stayed, like I said, she stayed asleep. And then, stop. Hey. Sorry, family and friends. And, so, that morning, Chloe.
That's somebody outside.
So then, Chloe. Sorry, family and friends. Okay, so then I would say, about 7 o'clock or so, she started getting the death rattle. And so we had my Uncle Charles to call. He called hospice and he said, told them what was happening and what was going on. And they said, okay, we're going to call in 2 prescriptions. One prescription was to keep her, like, I guess, kind of calm. And then the other one was just kind of help her with her breathing and stuff, I guess. So they got that, come back, and it had to go under her tongue. But she never swallowed it. So it didn't do any good, for it to put under there. So the ones that smoked went out to smoke, and we stayed in there with her. I was at Mamaw's head, and I was holding her hand. Sean was at her feet. We went and got Mommy and them, and we said, hey, she's passing. You need to come in. Well, all weekend, everybody had pretty much said, bye to Mamaw, and, it was okay for her to go and all that kind of stuff. And except for Mommy. Mommy said she couldn't do it, and they all kept telling her, Tootie, she's waiting for you to tell her it's okay for her to go. And Mommy said, I can't do that. I can't tell her that. And they all kept telling her, you need to do it. And Mommy she couldn't do it. So that morning went out to smoke and stuff. And then at 9:13, Mommy come in. They were outside and they came back in. And Mommy came over. I don't know what made her. I'll ask her in a minute if something made her do it. But she came in. She went over there to where her mom was, where Mamaw was. And she kissed Mamaw a couple of times on her cheek and like on her forehead. And she had Mamaw's hand, and she looked at Mamaw and she said, Mommy, I love you. And then she kissed her again, and she said, Mom, I have to know that you know that I love you, and I love you more than anything. And it was family and friends. I am telling you what, it was nothing but the power of God on this woman. Mama opened her eyes up and looked at Mommy and said, uh-huh, and hadn't spoke and hadn't said anything since Sunday night, and looked at Mommy right in her eyes and said, uh-huh. And then she closed her eyes, and then at 9:15, Mama passed away. And I held her hand. I watched her take her last breath. And me and Sean sung to her. We sung her that song, There Is Coming a Day. Do you guys know it? I'm not a singer at all, but it says, if I can remember some of it, it says, there is coming a day when no heartache shall come, no more tears in the eyes, no more death to dim the eyes. What a peaceful it will be when forever I will be with the one who died for me. What a day that will be when my Jesus I shall see. When I look upon his face, the one who saved me by his grace. When he takes me by the hand and leads me through the promised land. What a day, glorious day that will be. There'll be no sorrow there, no more burdens to bear, no more sickness, no more tears to dim the eyes. What a peaceful that will be when the one who died for me. What a day, a glorious day that will be. I'm not no singer at all, family and friends, but me and Sean sung her that song, and me and Sean sung her that song at the funeral. Because, I don't know, because we knew at that moment that Mama was getting ready to go to heaven. She was getting ready to be with Jesus. And with her mom and with her brother, and where there's no more sorrow, where there's no more heartache, where there's no more burdens, is there. Like also, there's a song that says, no tears will enter the gates of heaven. And that's true. There's going to be no tears that's going to enter heaven. There's going to be no more sorrow. There's going to be no more pain. And we knew in just a matter of time that Mama was going to be in heaven, and no more sickness, no more sickness, no more pain or anything like that she was going to, endure anymore. And, that song, what a day that will be when my Jesus I shall see. It was just fitting, Well, Mommy, was there something that made you at that moment finally, do that with Mama, or did something lay on your heart, or you just did it, or?
Well, I just wanted to make sure she knew.
Yep. And, it was just something how, I truly believe Mama was waiting for Mommy to know that Mommy was okay. I do believe they know that they hold on for us. And I do believe that Mama held on for Mommy. And that was how Mama passed away.
And like our grandparents, we didn't get to meet. No grandparents on either side. They had already passed away. My mom's mom, she passed away. Well, somebody said she was 28. Another person said she was like 40. So I really don't know. I never got to meet her or my grandpa, or neither on the other side. I didn't get to meet them because they was already passed. And it was just Mommy and then her brother.
And maybe later on we might talk about your dad and that kind of stuff maybe, but that's a really deep conversation and a really hard one, so we'll have to think and pray on that one. So then we lost Brad. Do you want to talk about that?
No, it's too hard.
Well, Ben, my brother, I guess, do you want me to give back the backstory of everything with Brad or no?
Not now.
So, Brad on July 5th is technically when my brother passed away. But he was found on July 6th. Is when he was found. My brother was left, basically. They shut the door on him. They knew that my brother had passed away, and a person locked the door and just left him there.
I'm going to mention this. I told it to Lisa.
And Lisa, before we start, so if anybody wonders, because on there, my real name is Letitia. My nickname is Lisa, and I know people might get on here that gets confused. My whole name is Letitia Greta Michelle, but my nickname is Lisa. And how I got that name was my dad's mom wanted to name me, and my mom said you can pick out a middle name. Her and her mom both got to pick out a middle name. Well, she didn't like that. She still picked out a name, but she kept calling me Lisa. So that's how that nickname, and it just stuck. So Letitia, my mom picked out. Greta was her mom picked it out, and Michelle was from her mom. And then my dad's mom gave me the nickname Lisa. So I just wanted to clarify that if you guys hear Mommy call me that, if you guys are wondering, like, wait a minute, she's got two different names.
What I was going to tell you is, I don't know how you would actually say this, but anyway, since my son passed, ever so often I have like dreams. And I told Lisa about them. And, well, the two people was with him. And you couldn't see the faces. The faces was like blocked out. But the build of them, especially this one, was built to a T. Built to a T. And the other one, you could see the hands and the arms, enough to know. But you know, it's sad. It's sad. Somebody you've been with for so many years, and then friends that he has known, a friend that he had known for so many years, could just walk away and lock a person on the inside.
Yeah. And so to give you guys kind of a backstory about my brother. My brother had bleeding ulcers. And then he was in a motorcycle wreck and it tore part of his back heel off. And he was in the hospital.
I've been on a long time.
Yep. And they were giving him morphine and Demerol around the clock. Like both of them, around the clock. And we're from the country. We don't know about that kind of stuff, and stuff. But we looked it up and Mommy was like, do you guys think you should stop? Like, isn't that a lot, giving him, both of those every half an hour? And they said, oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Well, then my brother gets out, and then my brother become addicted to the pain medicine because he was on the morphine and Demerol for like almost 3 weeks in the hospital around the clock.
And then he come home and stay a while, and then he have to go back.
Yep.
He did that 3 or 4 different times.
Yep. So my brother kind of fit that battle a little bit here and there, but I'm just trying to give you a backstory, kind of, you know. We wasn't raised around drugs. We wasn't raised around alcohol. Mommy kept us shielded from that. But it just goes to show you, no matter how much you're shielded for stuff, you know, you go in the hospital for a procedure, you go in the hospital because something happened to you, and it's just crazy how your body can get addicted to that stuff. But anyway, that morning, my brother was with, basically, I guess you would call her his long time partner or whatever, whatever you want to say. This person, we just can't say a lot of things right now for reasons that's still being looked into. But yeah, they shut the door on him and they left him. And then when we got there, like I said, the 6th, we went through, person went through the window, and that's how we found him. And did that and all that, and then, you know, all that stuff with this, you know, with I don't know what you call them, the coroner, the state, all that kind of stuff. You know, they did all their type things, and we have it, you know, on his death certificate and in other things that, you know, my brother didn't pass away by his own hands. You know, it's in the paperwork. You know, he didn't die by his own hands. You know, my brother's life was taken by someone else's hands, and that's something that's hard to swallow. It's something hard to I don't even know the word for it. But it's just hard. But Brad was the best person you would meet. He would do anything for you. Anything he would do, he would do it for you. Loved his family, he loved his friends, he loved his dog, he loved his cat. He was funny. I mean, laugh, he would cut up, he'd joke.
He was known by everybody.
Yes, everybody where my brother lived knew him.
They either called him country or hillbilly.
Yep, everybody knew him. I mean, everybody knew him, and that's no exaggeration. I mean, everybody knew him, and he was a nosy. Anything that happened, he would be front and center. He would be asking what's going on, what happened, and he was nosy. He could tell you everything that happened, everything that would happen. He could tell you. You know, he was my first. Not only was my brother, he was my first best friend. You know, but he went peaceful. They said he went. You know, he didn't suffer, and that's, you know, that does give us some kind of peace in that way of knowing that, you know, he didn't suffer. That they said he went really quickly. That most likely he probably didn't really even know what was happening. It was so fast. Which, you know, that's good. And I do believe Brad's in heaven. I do believe he's up there waiting for us when we get there. You know, Brad believed in the Lord and, you know, served him. And we all have, you know, and everybody.
He loved church.
Yep. He loved church. And everybody here, you know, everybody deals with something. You know, I mean, you know, there's people that, you know, deal with depression has took their lives and everything. Just because you have issues or you're struggling with something doesn't mean that you don't love the Lord. It doesn't mean that you don't believe in him. It is just something in your mind that makes you that way. But I do believe he's up there in heaven, and I do believe he'll be there waiting for us when we get there. And then, is there anything else you want to say about Brad, Mom?
No.
And then, what was I going to say? Okay, then my dad, he passed away on 5/30 of 2023. My dad had lung cancer. Kind of a backstory of how that happened. We have Meeting on the Hill. I don't know if you guys know what Meeting on the Hill is. It's we have church service on a graveyard, and we have it every September, first weekend of September, that Sunday. We went down like normal, and Daddy came back and he had a cough. And this cough wouldn't go away, so we went to the doctor, and his family doctor was out. And the other doctor said, "Oh, you're just having sinus and allergies issues." Gave him medicine, said this will help. Well, it didn't. He went back. He went like 3 times back to the doctor before his doctor went in, and they kept saying, "Oh no, it's nothing. It's just your sinuses and allergies." Well, finally his regular doctor came back because he was on leave. His family doctor actually had cancer himself. So he came back, and Daddy went back in, and he said, "Look, I've had this cough now for like over a month now, and it's not going away. It's it's just a cough, and the cough is getting worse." So he said, "Oh no, well, I'm gonna send you straight on for an X-ray." And then he sent Daddy straight on for an X-ray. And then we got the call, and they said there's something on your lung. So we're gonna send you back in 2 weeks. I'm going to put you on antibiotics, and in 2 weeks, if it's just something with the fluid or something, it should be gone with these antibiotics. So he goes back in 2 weeks. It's still there.
And then they set him up for a PET test.
Yep. So then they set him for a PET test, and that was in November. We go for that. Get that, and then the doctor comes out. Budani came out, and he said, "Your dad lit up." And we didn't really know what that meant. And we said, "What does that mean?" He said, "Your dad lit up like a Christmas tree." And basically what happens is they put this dye in your body, and the dye lights up cancer that's in your body. But he says, "Your dad, but I can't give you the 100%, prognosis until the test comes back. But your dad did light up." And this was at the end of November. It was after Thanksgiving. So December 3rd, the test came back. We had to go back in to his pulmonologist, and it was me, him, and Mommy. We go in, and we're not thinking anything much. We're thinking, okay, maybe stage 1. Nothing major. Stage 1, no problem. We go in there, and he said, "Luther," he said, "you have stage 3. You're at the line. You're getting ready to turn to stage 4 lung cancer." And when I tell you that my heart dropped, I just burst out crying. Mommy started crying, and Daddy's looking at me and Mommy like, "What is happening here?" Because how can you already be almost stage 4? Like what happened to 1, 2, 3, and all that. Well, to come to find out, some years back, they said that Daddy had a little bitty, like, pencil mark. Just a tiny bitty pencil mark. When he, because he was a smoker, how they make you go do the test. And when he did, they told him, it's like, "Oh, it's nothing to worry about." We believe that little bitty spot was the start of it. So, he got diagnosed, all that. So then he did chemo and radiation. This was December 3rd. By December, 5th or 6th, Daddy was already to stage 4. He did chemo and radiation. That didn't help. So then we found a doctor called Dr. Mannion, and he did the experimental drug Opdivo 240 on my dad. And that gave us almost 7 years with Daddy.
But we just recommended 3 to 18 months.
Yeah. But Daddy was lucky enough that, he did that. And what it did, it kind of gave Daddy a function in life again. Like he could walk on his own. He could feed himself.
At times he couldn't.
No, but I'm saying at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it got to maybe, I would say, like the last 3 or 4 years, you could tell that it wasn't working.
You have to diaper him.
Yeah, and then you got back to where we would have to diaper him. You would have to feed him. bath him, all that. And then we went for the thing. So with Daddy's cancer, at first, Daddy's cancer spread downward. So it was in the one lung, it went to the other lung, then it went to his stomach, it was in his kidneys, it went to his liver. I mean, it was just wherever you could think of, it was already in. Well, then at the end, it started going upward. Then he got diagnosed with Alzheimer's or dementia, or however you want to say it. And then his cancer spread to his brain. And he got really sick there for probably the last some months. He made it to Mommy and Them's 50th wedding anniversary. That was in February.
August.
Or I'm sorry, in August. He made it to that. And that year he was okay, fine. And then Christmas and all that, he was fine. And then he just went downhill. But that would be how Daddy would do. He would get really sick, go way down really bad, and then he would like jump back up and he would be okay. Well, it got so like, I would say around Christmas, January, February, Daddy got to where he couldn't eat. He couldn't hold anything down. He was throwing up and all that. So his cancer doctor stopped the treatments for a while. He said, we got to stop. We got to figure out, why you're throwing up and, that kind of stuff. Well, then Daddy got really bad. He couldn't eat. And then with the dementia too, he was get confused, I'll tell you a funny story. So there was always someone here with him when he got diagnosed. So he was never left here by himself. So me and Mommy had got up that morning and we took Elijah to school, and we had come back. And then Mommy was outside doing something. So before she knew it, I'm using the restroom. So Daddy makes his way out the door to where Mommy is. And if you just have to, he's got his pajamas on. He's got his pajamas hiked all the way up as far as he could pull them up. He reminded you of like Sanford and Son, how he would wear them, his pants way up. That was Daddy. And he tell Mommy, he got in his truck, he got in the passenger side, and Mommy said, Buddy, where are we going? He said, I don't know, but I'm ready to go. Let's go. Well, so I get up things, and Mommy said, well, I don't know how we're going to get in. How are we going to get him in the house? Because, if he went outside, he was hard to get back in. So he's in the truck, and I'm saying, well, come on, let's go on in. It's cold out here. We'll get us something to eat. Oh, no, he wasn't having it. He was ready to go. He didn't know where he was going, but he was going somewhere. So I said, okay. I told Mommy, I said, I know what to do. I went there and got my purse, got my keys. I said, Daddy, do you want some donuts? Boy, he perked up. He said, yep, I want some donuts. I said, well, come on. I said, we'll go to Dunkin' Donuts. He flew out that truck and got in the car. So we go to Dunkin' Donuts, and we get a dozen of Dunkin' Donuts, and we come back, get out of the car, and by that time, he had trouble kind of walking. So when he walked, he kind of like shuffled. It was almost kind of like a slow run almost. So he took off out of that car, and I'm carrying the donuts, and he was making it down where he went down to his room. And I said, well, how many donuts do you want? I want them all. Bring them all down here to me. And boy, he grabbed that dozen of donuts, and he sit down there, and we just let him eat them. We just let him. He had diabetes, but they just said, give him whatever he wants. They said, just, whatever he wants. And he sit there, and he ate that whole dozen of donuts. He was just like a little kid eating those donuts. And we just let him eat the donuts. Because they just told us, give him whatever he wants. And he would stash donuts. He'd stash candy. But anyway, then he, like I said, it spread. And we were on his way to take him to the doctor. For the doctor to tell us, they couldn't do anything for Daddy anymore. Which we already knew that. And he was just going to tell us, do whatever, make memories, take him wherever, do whatever. But, Daddy didn't make it. We pulled out that morning, and, Daddy passed away within 5 minutes. Daddy went real peaceful. We were all with him when he passed. We were all around him. Again, we believe Daddy held on till Sawyer got there. Soon as Sawyer got there, he told him, Papa, I love you, and he gave Daddy a kiss and stuff, and then Daddy was gone. So I believe Daddy held on, till Sawyer got there, because we told him that Sawyer was on his way. And he passed away really quickly. I know that day that Daddy seen Brad coming, and Daddy started smiling, because my daddy died with a smile on his face. He still had the same smile on his face at his funeral. And I know that smile was because he seen Brad, and he got to hug Brad. And I know that's why so many people at the funeral and everything kept telling us, like, I just can't believe your dad's smiling. They were just amazed that, he had that smile. Even when the coroner came to pronounce Daddy, he told us, he said, your daddy's smiling back there. He's got a big smile on his face. And I said, yep. And he said, thing why? And I said, because he seen my brother. I said, he seen my brother, and he started smiling because he got to see Brad. Daddy would always tell us, I want to go see Brad and be with Brad, but I don't want to leave you guys either. And, like Daddy would tell us all the time, though, I'm a winner either way, whether I stay here or whether I go to heaven. And I know Daddy today is up in heaven, too, looking down on us. And when it's our time, I know he's going to be there waiting on us. And then Janie, we had talked to her that day that Daddy passed away and all that. And then we got the call that Janie passed. And, us and even my mom's sister Pam and stuff, we believe that once Janie heard that Daddy passed away, that she knew it was okay. It was okay that she didn't have to fight no more, and it was okay if she, went on to heaven. So we always joke, if you knew my dad and Janie, they were almost two peas in a pod, nosy. Love to know everything that was going on.
And cut up.
Cut up and carry on. So if any two would try to beat each other to heaven, it would have been them two. And we always joke that we could hear Daddy say, who is that? And then, we could, in our mind, we could see that there's Daddy and them there. And then there comes Janie. And Janie was looking at Daddy and saying, nope, you thought you were going to leave me. Oh, no. I'm a-coming too. Because if you knew them, they both cut up. And I could just imagine them up there with Mamaw and, my mom's brother and, Mama's brother and Janie and Brad. And then my dad has, a mom and dad up there. He's got a sister up there. I can just imagine what's going on, because I know Daddy and Brad probably knows everybody in heaven by now. He's probably went up and down heaven.
And Luther lost a sister at 50.
Yeah. And then my dad had a sister that was diagnosed with lung cancer, right? And my dad was diagnosed right after her. Chloe, stop it. But I just know they're having the best time up there ever was. I just know they are. I just know that they're, having a good time up there. And, family and friends, it's good to know that when it's our time, that our family members are going to be there, to welcome us in, when it's our time to go. But while we're here, I encourage you to, to spend time with your family, and your friends, because I'm telling you, you could have them one day and then they could be gone the same day. Daddy was here that day, perfectly fine, and then he was gone within 5 minutes. That quick. Cherish your family. Make sure you tell them that you love them. Make the memories. Make memories. Who cares about, trying to build up the bank accounts, trying to, build up all the materialistic things. Those things you can't take with you to heaven. It's when your family and your friends leave this world, you're going to be left with those memories. And if you don't make memories with them, you're going to have none. Make memories. Put the phones down when you're having your dinners, your Thanksgiving dinners, and or when you go on vacation or when you go places. Put the phone down. Enjoy your time with them. It's okay to take some pictures. But also, it's good to have those mental pictures in your brain and to be present and not be always behind the camera taking those pictures. Be present with them. Be present with them while you can. And just enjoy it. Because, like that song says, when you see Jesus, would I fall upon, I can only imagine, that he says, I can only imagine what I'll do when I see Jesus. Will I be able to stand, or will I fall upon your feet? And that's the things. It's just know that earth is not our home. We are passing through. Heaven is our goal. And also, family and friends, I want you to remember this, and this was something too that I struggle with sometimes. It rains on the just and it rains on the unjust. There's going to be hard times in this earth, but it still does not mean that God, Jesus, does not love us. He is there with us.
But the grass never stays greener on one side all the time. It switches sometimes.
Yep. And that song, I could only imagine. If you guys haven't even seen that movie, look it up. Watch it. That movie is such a good movie.
And I can relate to him.
Yep. It is such a good movie. It says, I can only imagine what it will be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what it will be like when I'm forever by your side. I can only imagine what my heart will be. I can only imagine. I'm trying to think of the rest of the words. What is it, Mommy? I can only imagine what my eyes will see.
He had a rough dad.
When I look upon your face, I can only imagine what my eyes will do when your face is before me. I can only imagine. And it talks about, will you be able to stand, or will I fall upon my knees? I can only imagine what it will be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine.
I know exactly what he's talking about.
And you can see that song. You have to look it up. Mom, do you want to say why you know what that song is like?
No.
Yeah, and also family and friends, sometimes Mommy might share things with you, but, Mommy had a rough life, and, she had a really rough childhood, and things were done to her that no child should have to endure. She shouldn't have had to go through that stuff as a little child. And I think that's why Mommy was so protective too over me and Brad, because she kept us by her, and she was going to be determined that me and Brad didn't have things done to us, with the things that she endured. So she always made sure, that we were safe. And maybe sometimes she may share some of that with you, but, you know, like she said, that song, it does relate to her, you know, a lot of ways. You know, if you haven't looked up that movie, look it up. That the singer wrote the song about his dad, um, you know, about what they did, you know, and the things, and then he wrote that song, I Can Only Imagine. I'm trying to think, I cannot think of it. It says, I can only imagine.
That's the name of it.
I know, but the song, what is the rest of it? Like, I can only imagine. Wait a minute.
What this day will be.
Okay, family and friends, it's I Only Can Imagine by Mercy Me is the song. And again, I am no singer, so I want you, it says, I can only imagine what it will be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what my eyes will see when your face is before me. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or when all of you be still, will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. Yeah, yeah, I can only imagine. I can only imagine when that day comes and I find myself standing in the sun. I can only imagine when all I will do is forever worship you. I can only imagine. Yeah, yeah, I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Will all of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees will I fall? I can only imagine. Yeah, yeah. Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. Yeah. I can only imagine. Yeah, yeah. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or all of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah, yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. Sorry, family and friends. I am, again, like I said, I am no singer at all, but that song touches my heart so much. And like Mommy says, that song, you know, touches deep down in her. This chat has been kind of all over the place. I guess that's good about when we do these chats. We never know where they're going to go. These chats are not rehearsed. We have no idea what we're going to talk about. We just talk whatever the Lord lays on our hearts, or whatever we want to share, or whatever He puts on our hearts to share with you guys. You know, we're just ordinary people, and we enjoy
Ordinary
chatting with you.
hillbillies.
Yes, ordinary hillbillies and proud hillbillies. Very proud of where we come from, and not ashamed at all of where we come from. Hillbillies are some of the best people you'll ever meet. Caring, loving, do anything in the world you can do for everybody. But my goal is tonight, like I said, is, make memories. Stop worrying about, do I have the finest home or the finest car or what I have or, this or that, Make memories with your family, Be present, because those are the things you're going to hold on to when they're gone, because that's all you're going to have left. Family and friends, we hope you enjoy these chats with us. Like I said, we don't know where our chats are going to go. This chat's kind of been all over the place tonight. So we enjoyed talking to you. Mom, you got some more stuff to say?
Well, it was good to chat with you once again this evening, friends. So I'll chat with you tomorrow again, hopefully. And may God bless each and every one of you all. And you have a good night.
And if you guys like our channel, Our Cherished 5, if you like these kind of videos, we would appreciate if you would give us a like, a comment, and a share. And if you haven't subscribed, we wish that you would subscribe and would become part of our YouTube family. We would appreciate that, and we would love to have you as part of our family. We love doing this. Me and Mommy, like I said, the doctor said that Mommy needed to get out and talk more and things, and we just that one day then just decided to pick up the camera and start posting on YouTube. And we've got to talk to some great people on here. You guys, just the comments you guys share and the love that you have for Mommy, it just touches my heart. But we want to let you guys know we thank you and we appreciate that you let us come into your home and share our lives with you guys. And we hope you guys have a blessed week, this week coming ahead. And let's also remember to keep the hurricane people and the flood victims in our prayers, because they're going to need it in the next coming months. Because, some of them lost everything, And I'm not just talking about their material things. Some of them lost their family, their loved ones. Their life will never be the same. So let's make sure we, keep them in our prayers. And we'll have more videos coming your way this week. But again, if you haven't subscribed, we would love to have you subscribe to our channel and like, comment, and share our videos, Our Cherished 5. And God bless each and every one of you all. And we'll holler at you all later.
Bye.
Bye.